Hi, everybody. This is Dorothy Kilty, and this is part of the collaboration that is brought on by, or that was set up by LineDotArrow, Nathalie of LineDotArrow, and NonstopPapercrafts. They both have these gorgeous kits out, absolutely gorgeous, and they also have a ton of freebies. Okay, so many freebies. Now, the challenge the first week is to make layered tags. So I'm going to share a couple things with you, mainly one. This is some of the freebies that I'm just flipping through, and you can see I've cut some things out of some of these. But gorgeous tags from both LineDotArrow and NonstopPapercrafts. So really gorgeous. And then each of them also had two kits. So a kit and an add-on. This is LineDotArrow's page. So you can see here's pockets. I just printed out a very few. I ordered both bundles, or bundles from both shops, because they just are absolutely gorgeous. Here's a couple of pages from NonstopPapercrafts. This tag is just beautiful, and some pockets. And then I've already cut some things up. I just got to work. Okay, so one of the things I've done here is I've fussy cut a few things out. I've taken this tag and these tags and I've glued them down to a file folder, and I've started cutting these out. And then there's a couple other things I've cut out. I printed all these just on regular copy paper, so that's why I wanted the tags to be a little stiffer. So I got glued them. Some of them were glued to, like this is the backing for something. I don't know. I saved the backing. And some of them were, here's another thing that was some sort of a junk paper that I glued it on. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you, even though it says layered tags, I just wanted to show you this for a second. This was a pocket. Oh, who is it from? Maybe LineDotArrow. I don't know. I cut it out and I glued it together, and then I layered some lace on this because it's a pocket that they cut a hole in. I put some plastic, and this is again packaging that I got, and I glued that in behind it and glued this picture in before I glued the pocket together. So in a way, you've already got two layers there. Okay, here's a card. It's just was a file folder, so I glued that there. And then I thought I would add one more thing, and that is, love these scissors, is a little winter wonderland. So when I have leftover pieces of fabric or anything, I'll just take them and put them aside, and then when I feel like it, I will stamp on them. And I just think they're fun. I think they're fun all by themselves, or you can put on them. You can also ink it up or do something like that to make it more interesting. But there we go, adding another layer to this. Now, what I want to show you is tags stacked on top of each other. Okay? And I started doing this. The idea is that they will stack up, and you'll see they'll have a peekaboo window where this is going to go. And then I'm going to top it. There's a missing here. And then I'm going to add like a cover for it. So when you first see this tag, you don't realize that it's all peekaboo until you start sliding them over. Okay? So I want to show you, what I've done with this, and then we'll also decorate them. So this one that I'm going to have go right on top of here, I have cellophane in here, which I've glued onto the back, and I need to cover this up. This was junk mail that came in asking for a donation. And I thought this angel was so pretty. And I cut around the moon and to here to make a little design, okay? And so that when you get down to this one, you've got kind of a ready-made decoration on this one, okay? So, but the way that I did that cutaway, so we have here another page also glued onto something, piece of cardstock from junk mail. And in order to, the first time I did this, I did it wrong. I thought that I would take and just have this whole girl showing. But then I realized that if I layered them on top of each other, things would stick out at the bottom, and I didn't like the way that looked. So let's put that aside and take this. Now, the way I figured out how this would be is I put them together, and I will cut out a hole in this. Now, what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to go around the edge of this a little bit. I do want to be aware of how low I want it, and this one is probably about as low as I want. So, and the way you figure that out is you take the next one and put it on top, and you want to be above the bottom of this tag, okay? So this is way above the tag, and it has this kind of interesting shape to it. Here's my straight ruler, my ruler. Here's a cutting knife that I would use, X-Acto knife. So this is one that it slides up and gives you a blade and takes it back down to pretend. This is a little, this is left over from when I was an engineer. But you've got 1/10 of an inch on one side, and then you've got inches, quarters, eighths, 3/8 on this side, okay? And then I also have a cutter. Must be on my desk someplace. Sorry about that. A swivel cutter to use to cut around here. Now, if you don't have the swivel cutter to go around, so the swivel cutter, I can kind of, pick where I want to go and swivel it around. Now, it does not want to go between these two thicknesses, so it doesn't work as well as it might. So the next step is to be aware. I'm going to put the marks on the back, but I want to have some idea of where this is going to go down to right now. So it goes down about halfway. It's kind of like this. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, and I've already marked the back of this, but on the back, I'm coming in 3/8 of an inch. So here's 1/4 of an inch, and it's one more than those. So this is 12/36 on this ruler, but 3/4 of an inch is what, or 3/8 of an inch between 1/4 and 1/2 inch is what you want. So I've marked it here, and I've marked it here, and I have some idea where I want to go here, and it probably would be a good idea to use a pencil instead of a pen, but somewhere around here. Now what I'm going to do up here, this one here, I figured out where I wanted it, and I'm just really coming down to below where this curve is. Okay, so the curve that this has, and then I'm coming down. So this is about an inch. Oh, let's see what it is. Nope, it's about 1.25 inches, give or take. Yeah, about 1.25 inches, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ruler and line it up here, and I'm going to come in 3/8 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3. There's your 1/2 inch. And I'm going to come in here. Now, because I've got this line here, 1, 2, 3, this will tell me how far to cut it. And then on this one, since it's not a rectangle like this one is, I just have to have kind of an idea of how far I want to come down here. So I'm going to start off with this and take this X-Acto knife, and I'm going to put it here. And this could be, metal is better when you're cutting than plastic, but plastic will work. So example, if you have one of these metal rulers, you can use that as well. So I'm going to start over here where the 3/8 of an inch came, and I have it lined up, and then I'm going straight over here. I'm going to do that twice because remember there's 2 pieces of paper and some glue to cut through. And see, I've cut through that nicely. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to line it up with this, and I'm going to come down about, about this far. Okay? And then I'm going to go over on this side. You know, when you've got lines here, it's easier to line up where you can see those. So here and here. Where am I? Let me move up here. Okay. Here, and then the top one is here. And I want to go down to about here. So we'll just take that and cut it. Okay. All right, now you can see on this side, I have cut, you can see where I've cut, and let me just join this up. So you can see the lines there where I've cut, and you can see I've come down, wow, that's pretty good, right about to where I want to cut. Now, I can take this and just go across. I could go straight across here. And if I start by going straight across there, then I'm going to have less to kind of cut away. So on the other ones with the rectangle, I cut this whole thing out from the back. But because I want to use this design here, I'm using this. Now, fussy cutting is not my favorite thing. It's not something I'm hugely good at. I do know you're supposed to move the paper, not the scissors and not your hands. And I can just cut straight up here to where this edge is and get rid of that. Okay, now I can go around here. And I don't want to go any farther than where this is coming down here. So I can cut this around a little bit and take this around to here. And there we go. So now, if the edges are kind of rough, and if you're as bad a fussy cutter as I am, you'll find this. A little bit of sandpaper rubbed along the edge can help smooth them down a little bit. And the other thing that you can do, I have a little piece, oh, I see. Okay, is just go ahead and take your Distress Oxide. Now this is vintage photo. Distress Oxide, and if you're going to ink around the window, you want to do it before you start putting your cellophane in the back. Now if you look here, I have a little bit of where I cut it uneven. There. So am I horribly upset because that's not straight? I'm not. If that's something that bothers you, then you can recut that along there. That's probably where I went back in from the front and did it. Also, when you have this round part here, when you cut this, it may not be perfectly straight if you cut it with the scissors, which I did. And so by taking your sandpaper and running it along the edge, you smooth the edge, you get rid of some of those raw edges, those rough edges of where they stick up, and make a smoother finished product there. You can also use this to kind of straighten things if things are cut a little crooked. Okay, so now when I put this on top of here, we have a little pick out of this cute little girl. Okay, I'm going to go back to the ones I'm actually using now. So I have this one, I have this one, okay, I have, whoops, missing one, I'm missing one, here it is, this one. And I've already kind of sanded the edges of these to make them a little bit curved. And you want to line these up when you punch your holes and stuff in them so that each one of them covers up the other one. Okay? And then the last one is going to be this. Okay? Now I have cellophane glued in to these three. So let's show you how I did that. So I'm using, oh, this one's way too dirty. I suppose I could clean it up. Well, I guess I'm going to have to. Okay, so when I am deciding where to cut this, I want it to be inside this this edge, but bigger. So if you take your piece of plastic and you line it up, so this is now even with this edge. So I'm just going to slide it over like this a little bit. I slid it over about, a quarter of an inch or something like that. So somewhere around halfway between there. Now if I take my scissors and I cut up this side like this, that's going to end up being a little bit smaller, bigger than the center piece, but longer than this. And I can also cut some of this off at the bottom. Now, when I'm gluing this in place, you want it to be pretty close around the edge here, but you also want to hold the ends of the plastic in place. So the way I do that is I take, this is Fabri-Tac glue, and it's put into another bottle. I have arthritis, and the regular Fabri-Tac bottle, I just can't squeeze. So now I've got this piece of plastic, and what I'm going to do is just put this along the top and along the bottom. This is the back, so it's not really going to show very much. Now I'm going to be very careful when I put this down. I want this glue up here to be above this glue that's right around here, and this to be below the bottom edge. Okay, like that. You want to take a look, make sure that none of that glue got through. Okay, and now just let it set. It's going to set up pretty quickly, and then it's ready to go. Okay, so now let's go back to this. We have this. we don't want this. I mean, if somebody sees the back of this, if they turn it over and they see the back of this, we either want this to be a nice journaling card or at least look nice. So one of the things that you can do is just take a piece of scrap paper Oh, I wanted to mention, you know, you can use vellum or you can use some other kind of paper in here. That would also work. Here's vellum. So vellum, once it's glued down, you can barely see, but you could sort of see her peeking through. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about this whole shape. I would have right now. I'm just going to try and cover up the bottom part of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put glue around this whole back. I will be honest with you, I didn't pay attention to what was on the back when I glued this in, but you know, I think it's fine. Okay, now I'm going to put this across. Now, you also have these edges here that you want to be secured. We'll let that dry for a minute. I have a little bit of plastic sticking out here, so I'm going to cut that curved. Okay, and what I'm going to do with that, I mean, you could get fancy and do all the cutting and stuff, but I'm just going to take some washi tape. And I'm going to put it along the edge. Now this says joy, okay? So that's long enough. This is Yoo-Hoo stick. Yoo-Hoo is a good brand. I use Scotch Create a lot too. Those are the two brands that I use the most. Okay, and this is pretty thin, but I'm going to line it up with the inside here. Okay, we'll take another one. Sliding it across. Washi tape is generally a low-tack tape, which means it does not have a lot of glue on it to stick. It's not meant to be, you know, stay forever. So by adding glue, I just make it a little bit stronger. Okay, and now I'm going to add a piece across here. Okay, I'm going ahead and letting it stick out the edges here because I'm going to trim it off. Okay, we'll go ahead and let it dry. And then, let's cut this off so we can see. It's just a piece of paper out of my scrap box that had a white back. Okay, we'll cut this. My daughter got these scissors. I think I've got too much glue in them and I need to clean that out, but they kind of push apart so you don't have to pull open and pull closed, and they're great if you have arthritis. Okay, so now we have this, and I'm just going to take, I should have gone ahead and put run this all the way down to the edge, but we'll put it over here, and then we'll put a piece over here. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to tear it off at the joy. Oh, well, there we go. And then we'll put one across here. I'm going to tear it here at the end of the joy. And then one more. So there's still a little bit of journaling space at the bottom here, but it's also covered that up, and it's kind of cute. I think it's kind of cute. Okay, so that's one, two. This one is the same size as the one behind it. Okay, 3 is going to be this, 4, and 5. Now, obviously the tags are layered, but we also may want to put some layers on these tags as well. So I've cut out a few things here that might be kind of cute from the fussy cuts from LineDotArrow. So we can add this little LineDotArrow and NonstopPapercrafts. So I think what would be cute is to have a little bit of holly and then the Santa Claus here like that. We also can take ribbon or cheesecloth or something and put behind it or above it or whatever. I think I'm going to just go with this. Now this can also, I like things that kind of go over the edge to break up the rectangle when you're making these tags like this. Here we go. And I'm using the Fabri-Tac on this time because it's going to reach over onto the plastic a little bit. And you want to kind of drag the glue out to the ends here. Okay, so now let's just put this right like that. And it's sticking to the plastic because it's Fabri-Tac. And then we'll put Santa right here. I'm going to ink around the edge of Santa. Okay. And Santa's just sticking to paper, so I could use the glue stick. Notice I wrote on the back LineDotArrow or NSP for NonstopPapercrafts, so I could remember which one is which. Unfortunately, I didn't think of doing it right away. Okay, so now we have, this is going to layer up here. So each layer is a little bit interesting. Now, what do we have on the back? On the back of this, we haven't secured this, the cellophane edge. We really, if you're not careful, it can come off. I'm going to see if I have something that's just about the right size. Oh, this is kind of pretty. That might work. Gold and silver. These are not quite wide enough. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, this piece of gold will be fine. Okay, so again, it's just washi tape. This time I am going to take it all the way down the edge. this wants to stick. Boy, does it want to stick. Okay. Okay. This is like a copper. I thought at first it was gold, but I think it's more of a copper. But super pretty. Go right along this edge. And because this has kind of a cute design on the back, all I'm going to do on this one is put a piece along the bottom. I'm a little bit farther away from myself than I like to be when I'm working. So two things. One, I want to make sure that I reach up here. Now, this is kind of sticking up here. And I should have inked it or something so it didn't show up on the other side. Well, I'm going to let it go. I think it's okay. We're really going to burnish this down. Okay, and then we'll cut off the curve and then double check the other side and see if there's anything that's showing, and there is. And it looks a little, my cutout here looks a little thin, like maybe I didn't measure it right or something. But again, we have really 4 layers on this tag. You've got the cellophane, you've got this tag, you've got 2 of the printables layered up there. So we can put that there. Let me close off my glue. Now we've got this layer. And I think once again, we'll use a little bit of this. Let's start by fixing up the back, shall we? We'll do the gold again. Well, it's hard to believe I just had this apart, isn't it? See if I can see it. I think it's right here. Here we go. So I can't see it, but I can feel it. And once again, this is really seems like it wants to stick. So I'm going to just go with it and not put extra glue on it. Now you could also, just put this washi tape like as far as the bottom of the window, and then you could and then that would be that would hold it, Here, we'll put this across the top. In this case, on this one, the plastic is right down to here. You can't really see it, but it goes all the way down to there. So I think what I'm going to do is take a little bit more scrap paper. Oh, where? Okay, let's see. I have to remember not to sing. YouTube isn't too crazy about people singing songs and not paying the premium for them. So this is actually printed on the back on photograph paper, but I think I can put this right here. Okay, so what I'm I'm going to do here, I'm going to, so I'm cutting with the edge of this. Now I'm going to slide it over a little bit and cut the edge here. That will take it to be a little bit smaller than, so it doesn't go all the way across. So I'm going to glue this on with Fabri-Tac. Again, there's cellophane or some sort of plasticky stuff underneath there. So we'll slide that up right there. And then I'm just going to cut this off. I'm not taking off very much on the other side. Okay, and now if we put this and this on there, I think that that'll be cute. So we'll start with this one. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. So what I did was I kind of lined this up with a straighter edge here. So this edge of the cutaway is a little bit straighter. Not completely, of course. It wouldn't be interesting if it was. Okay, and then this one can go over here. And again, if you look at this edge, it's slightly straighter. Okay, just there's a little bit of white showing from my cutting, so I'm just inking it up. The ink sort of hides that. Okay, now again, this is the straighter edge. So, okay. So we're going to put that, I want it a little bit lower, and I also want it to not be lined up even with that background. I want a sort of a rougher edge. Okay, and then last but not least, we have this one. I'm going to ink up the edge of this, and you notice I wasn't consistent with my inking. You know, some don't need inking. Let's see, let me just see if I make a liar out of myself here. I'm inking the edge of this. Now, one thing that inking does do, though, is if you have, like, white on the cardboard, the white cardboard showing, you can take the ink and run along that and sort of disguise it. And that is a good reason to ink the inside of the window, too, because if you do that, then it doesn't show. This is pretty thin, so I think it's fine. Okay, so now we're going to line these up. Make sure that that all works. Okay, and then the last one will be this one. This one, we also can add a little bit of embellishment to it. And I did fussy cut a deer, but I don't think I want to use that. I think I'll just use this holly and holly berries. Okay, once again, I'm just gonna, I want all those points to lay down, especially since this is something that we're gonna be moving around a little bit. I don't want them to, you know, come free, so to speak. Okay, now we're gonna put grommets in each of these. So I'm gonna get out my crocodile. And I want it to go into the center of each one. So if you line it up on your board, and I'm eyeballing this, of course, but you want it to be halfway through here and down a little bit. So I'm going to put it right here. So that's in the center. Okay. So we'll go ahead and so I can line it up over the dot, and there you go, it's gone. Now, I spilled these things all over the place, and the colors are all mixed up. Let me see if I can find some that are the same color. In a lot of ways, I don't care what color it is as long as they're the same. So I got 2 of those. I need 5 of them. If not exactly the same, they're pretty darn close. Okay, there we go. I'm looking at this. I actually think since this is the front, this little snowflake one might look kind of cute. Let's see. Yeah, we have a little bit of a blue, not quite the same, but I think it'll kind of go. The way I use this is to hold it upside down and put the pin that sticks down through it and then close it. Let's see. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so now let's go with this one. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and punch all 5 holes. Now you want them to be lined up with this. But I also want to double check and make sure that's it's the middle of the tag. Because if you start getting off, it'll just compound with everyone. Okay, so we are going to, once again, line up the hole, making sure I have the right hole. Now we'll take this one. Again, if you take a look at this, you have a pin that sticks down here and a round one on this side. So I'm putting it over it, and then I am looking at getting the longer one because I think it'll be easier on my hands. Okay, so this time, once again, I'm most interested in this and getting the distance from here. Now I could measure it and not be so lazy. Okay, or you can do it this way. Now this one is a little bit more than 2 inches, or you can go, there we go. And that one looks like it's about in the middle to me. So it's hard to see because it's right over Santa's eye. Go right there. Okay. Put this here. Once again, the pin goes there. And then 2 hands to squeeze it. Whoa. Okay. 3. This one. There. Okay. This is 2.5. So when I'm lining this one up here, it just is almost, I like to literally have this line. So there we go. All right. Most of my grommets are the 3/16 size, so that's why I'm taking the bigger hole. Okay, and last but not least is this one. This one is the same, so this should be good. Now, I made this hole, I noticed when I did it, slightly to the right. So when I punch the hole, I'm going to go just slightly to the left. Okay, put this in. Okay, put the hole through the top and squeeze. Okay, so there we go. We have our 5. Now, how are we going to hold these together? We can just put a bow through them. We could put them on a ring. We could, but whatever we do, we want them to be able to swing open. Okay, so we could even put them on a eyelet, and we could add a touch of add a charm or something to the front if we wanted. 4, 5, almost too thick for this eyelet, but I think it'll work, or for this bulb pin. Okay, so there we go. Will they slide over? Nope, it's too tight. Doesn't work well. Forget that. Let's take this, nope, not that green ribbon. Let's take this ribbon and feed it through. Okay? Okay. Now you want to be careful not to tie it too tight because you want them to be able to swing freely. So I just put a knot in there. And now I'm going to take these 2 and cut them like that. And there we go. So thanks for spending some time with me today. Thank you very much to LineDotArrow and to Papercrafts and to the other groups that are working with this. And I had a lot of fun making this tag with you. Thank you.